Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida, the home of News Channel 8, your official Bucs station. This is Bucs Bonus on WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lead the NFC South after defeating the New Orleans Saints. And why is having a bye week early in the season the best case scenario for the Bucs? And will Kalijah Kancey be back, the Saints' first-round pick, just in time for the Lions game, the creamsicle game? Are you kidding me? We have all that and more right here, right now on Bucs Bonus. I am your host, Aileen Hnatiuk, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, Jen Lucas.
Hello, everybody.
Our beloved Karen Loftus is covering the Rays right now, so it is just him and I. And
she's here in spirit.
She's here in spirit.
Yes, she was very happy about the Bucs win.
Yes,
the two of you with your New Orleans connections. You know, it was almost like, I don't know. I would really like the Bucs to win, but I don't know. And
is that what I did or what she did?
And then the Bucs went in there and just absolutely dominated in the Superdome.
And let's talk about it. Holding the Saints to just 2 field goals. I mean, dominating and And I'll tell you what. I will tell you what. I forgot to mention this last week. Whether it was Derek Carr or Jameis Winston playing or not, we thought it was going to be Jameis Winston with Derek Carr's right shoulder injury. I picked the Bucs to win, whether it was Derek or Jameis. Honestly, what about you?
I picked the Bucs to win. I thought they'd score 27 points, so I was close there. I thought the Saints would score 24. Way off. And I've been tooting the horn of the Bucs defense so far, and I was punishing them for the Eagles running on them so well, but I thought with Alvin Kamara coming back that this was going to be a little bit more of a back and forth game. Yeah. But man, the Bucs defense lived up to my preseason prediction of they're going to carry the load all season, and it was a work of art. And I'll tell you this, big mistake by the Saints. In hindsight, you could say big mistake to start Derek Carr with his shoulder injury. But it was a big mistake to keep rolling him out there when it became quite clear he couldn't throw that well. And it was his velocity and his motion and how far he could throw was impacted by the injury. The Bucs did a tremendous job of pressuring him and making his day a bad day. And once again, teams get into the red zone against this team, and they are not scoring touchdowns.
Yeah,
that is impressive.
I think, too, hot take, quote me on it, I think if Derek Carr was fully healthy, I still would pick the Bucs over the Saints. Like the Saints, they're having some trouble in terms of play calling and communication, and it's just
there were some issues there.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I think for them, it's
I wonder
a little
though
bit of a coaching issue too.
I'm wondering.
Like they had AK back, dude.
The play where Antoine Winfield broke up the pass in the end zone on Chris Olave. Now the ball was thrown pretty well. It was still in a position to where Winfield could get to it. He got to the football. I didn't even have to go to the arm of Olave. I'm wondering if a healthy Derek Carr leads him better, and that should have been a sure touchdown for the Saints.
Yeah,
and as much as I credit Winfield, I think Carr's arm played a role in that pass play.
For sure, I agree. And let's talk about this: the Saints holding Chris Olave to 1 catch for 4 yards. That's his lowest, a new career low for him. Now, yes, credit the Bucs defense, but like you said, that shoulder injury does have something to do with it. And talk about these stats here. If you're watching us, you can see them. If not, I'll read them out for you if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. Carr was 23 of 37 for 127 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Our boy Baker Mayfield, though, 25 for 32, 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He just continues to prove everyone wrong. You, me, your dad, your mom, the national media, local media. It doesn't matter. If you are not on board with Baker Mayfield right now, you just don't like him. You just don't like him, and you're a hater.
All I have asked,
plain and simple,
from the beginning is that he is, a veteran who understands when to hold them, when to fold them, and as the old Kenny Rogers song goes. Because I know you're a big historian of music, so I know you know that song. But he within this offense, which is based on distributing the football without taking much risk, He has done that to a T. And then I said the next thing for me was, okay, now that he has some success, how does he do this with people patting him on the back? And we know he's a go-getter and he can be brash and brave and this and that. Sometimes in football that costs you. But he has done that in the appropriate situations when it permits. He's using his head. He had a key third down run where he ran to his left, got exactly to the first down marker, and it kept a drive going that wound up being a touchdown. So it was, he's doing everything right. And when he first came here to Tampa Bay, I thought to myself, if he just performs correctly with what they're asking, this is going to work out. This is going to work out well, and I think it's going to continue. I think Baker Mayfield has done terrific.
And we've talked about this kind of all season long. Like, this offense is being built around him and the way he plays. And Dave Canales, a big players coach, I mean, he asks the guys, hey, what are your thoughts on this route? What are your thoughts on this scheme? Like, they talk about it, and he will do what his players like. And I think that is one of the reasons why they've been so successful. Let's also talk about how Baker was able to continue the chemistry between him and his receivers. That touchdown pass to Trey Palmer after obviously Mike Evans came out of the game. That's impressive. That is impressive
pass.
For both parties, for Baker and for Trey.
Baker is throwing the ball the way he has to throw it. And even on his interception that he threw, he was looking for Chris Godwin. He was mad at himself. Even after he released the football, he knew it was an incorrect throw. But the Trey Palmer was floating it over the defender. And then there's the pass where it has to be a little bit more on a line to prevent the oncoming defender from getting there in time. So that touchdown was a perfect example of their chemistry. We saw it in the preseason. We saw it in training camp. It's just been terrific.
Is there something that you saw that game that you maybe want to see them do a little bit better? Was there anything that kind of stood out to you during it? You're like, man, they need to step this up. I thought it was the run game. I mean, someone's got to step up besides Rashad.
The run game is actually, believe it or not, getting a little better. It's still averaging. It's right around. I think it's 3.0 now per carry, 3 yards per carry, which is I might be dead bottom in the league. So obviously room for growth. If that can get established and get going, and remember, Baker Mayfield taking off and scrambling is part of the run game. Those numbers,
he can't be.
Those numbers will creep up.
Yeah.
Those numbers will creep up. Well, Dave Canales, the offensive coordinator, admitted the other day. He spoke to the media Monday that there are the run pass options, the RPOs as they call them in the football world. There are built-in RPOs that are not blatant RPOs. He does have the option to read it and take off, and he is seeing the gaps. Like I said, I use the word appropriate. He is doing it when it matters, he might have gone through all of his checks, and he sees 8 yards on the ground that he can get. He's taking it. That is, and it's just sacrilege to say, not what Tom Brady did.
Yeah.
And there's been runs already this season that Tom Brady would not have made last year. I don't know if it would have meant they lost the game or Brady, who knows. But the point is, my point is, it's different this year because of Baker's, not only his escapability, but his ability to go up the field a little more. I believe he's already had more runs of 7 or 8 yards more. I can't remember the yardage. More in 4 games than Tom Brady had in 3 years.
Wow. Well,
here.
yeah. I mean, it's, but then it kind of stresses me out because obviously you think down the line and down the season, like you don't want your quarterback running the ball that much.
No,
so it's like
puts them in jeopardy,
right? I mean, I hope they get Chase Edmonds back by the time they play the Lions. You think that'll happen?
I'm not sure about Chase. There's more injuries we're going to get into here in a little bit that I do think will come back, but. I thought Keyshawn Vaughn stepping in has had a good attitude. He had a few weeks ago the issue. He missed. He was basically not excused, but he did not practice and had to kind of work his way out of the doghouse, if you will. Goes into the lineup, and I thought he's performed well and complimented Rashad White very well. Now collectively, I think that they need to perform overall. That also involves the offensive line, which has played terrific in pass blocking. situations. Although I want to point this out.
Second in the league
Yes.
right now, right under the Bills. Is that what you're going to say? Did I steal your words?
That's fresh content.
Fresh.
Give them content, Aileen.
Give them the facts.
I'm not a big watch the all 22 film guy, but there are the people out there who do. So they post clips they see.
Oh, man.
And I saw a clip of shot from the end zone. It's all 22 players, and the Bucs are coming at you. So Luke Gedeke is the right tackle, so he's on the left side of your screen, and he chipped a guy and then blocked a linebacker by himself. He went block, and Rachaad White ran through the hole for, I don't know, 4 or 5 yard gain.
Yeah.
Didn't seem significant at the time, but you watch what Luke Gedeke did. When you see that, you're like, man, this run game's got to get going because that's awesome.
Right.
That was awesome by Gedeke, who's playing very well.
And that was one of the question marks going into season, and that's something they have put a period on, right? And said, hey, we can do these, play these new positions and form this chemistry that they have. So kudos to them. Should I give them a little applause? There it is. Yeah.
Absolutely. It calls for a sip of the coffee. Good job.
There you go. By the way, 31 yards on the ground for Baker Mayfield, as we were talking about. Just pulled up the box score right here. So good for him. Let's rave on the defense a bit. By the way, we're going to give credit where it's due, okay? And the defense, 10 takeaways now. They want 30 by the end of the season. They're already at 10. They played phenomenal. They just continue to carry this team.
They need to sustain it. I was reminded the other day by our pal Scott Reynolds that through 4 games last year, they were also at a pretty good number. Not 10, but it was right up there.
Yeah.
And then it just fell off. And I think they went about 9 or 10 games
knock on wood.
without anything.
There you go.
Todd Bowles basically beat these guys over the head in the offseason and said, we're getting turnovers. All right. Well, other things might happen, but we are getting turnovers.
Yeah.
And so far they've lived up to that. And good for them.
Yes.
They're being an aggressive defense. They're missing some parts, and they're still playing well. And I'm telling you, you mentioned Elijah Cansey earlier.
Yeah, I was just going to bring him up. I think he'll be. You think he'll be back? I think he'll be back.
I think he's very close to getting back.
Remain optimistic.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you.
What are you telling us?
I'm not a
tell the people.
I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV.
Here we go.
Soft tissue injuries. It's so simple for us on the outside to go, come on. Calf, hamstring, any of those things. They are absolutely, you're always right there.
Yeah.
You get out of bed after you've strained a calf, it's excruciating.
Yeah.
Then you go through the process. Remember, these guys have good rehab. They've got all the resources they need. You finally get out of bed and you're like, it feels great. I feel nothing. And you can even run and jog a little bit. But once you start doing football moves and performing, you can re-aggravate it in a heartbeat, which is what happened to Cansey.
Yeah.
And so all I want is just everyone to exercise caution and make sure he doesn't have another setback. Because all I remember is opening day, the Vikings have the ball in their first series of the season, and Elijah Cansey going in and disrupting a play, and I'm like, wow, this guy really is. This is what they drafted,
right?
And then he was gone.
Yeah.
So I don't want that to happen again. I want them to make darn sure that he is, in fact, about as close to 100 as you can get on percentage to be out there. He's going to make a massive difference, Aileen. Todd Bowles is licking his chops. Well, I asked him the other day. We were talking about Vita Vea. And I said, when Elijah Cansey finally lines up on a regular basis and gets going, what's this going to do for Vita? And he's the look in his eye. He's going to get a lot of single blocks, Dan. That's what he said.
Just like that?
Well, he's got a little drawl. But Vita Vea on single blocks is scary.
Yeah.
Absolutely scary. And now picture Elijah Cansey next to him, who's even more athletic.
Mm-hmm. I think they go from good to great.
Yes, I agree.
And I'm going to quote Todd Bowles here on the Elijah Cansey injury. He said, quote, it's kind of a, as you were saying, Dan, pain as tolerated type of deal. You want him 100%. When he came back last time, he felt it a little bit. So you want to be a little bit more cautious this time. Literally just what you said. So you don't want to jump into it.
He went that was the first week of camp. I'm trying to remember.
I think it might have been.
Let's say first week of camp.
Yeah.
So they went a week, 3 weeks of the preseason, and then a week before opening. He went roughly 5 weeks. Really almost no activity whatsoever to starting on opening day. And now it's been 2 Bears, Eagles, Saints, bye week. It's going to be a month before they line up against the Lions. Almost the same time frame.
Yeah.
So if that aggravation of the calf is not, if they didn't go back to square one, I guess, then he can come back a lot faster. But he's been jogging around at practice. You know, when you go out to the practice field, he has been doing a little bit more activity.
And he's also, I mean, he's still like he's studying these teams and preparing like he's going to play. And any athlete would too. It's not like this man is sitting on the sidelines just kind of like, all right,
he's not.
He's in the playbooks, he's studying, and he is going to, I can assure y'all, he will be ready.
There is no professional athlete that wants to sit on the side. It absolutely kills them to sit on the side.
Speaking of injury too, the status of safety Ryan Neal and wide receiver Mike Evans, Todd Bowles also said there's no update. And that they do have to get some tests run, and when they come in, they'll let us know. But I think I read somewhere too, like the hamstring injury wasn't anything intense.
It's mild. It's mild, but I believe today
are no bueno.
Yeah, today was supposed to be his MRI. So at some point now, somebody will say that it's either not serious or more serious than we thought.
Yeah,
but hamstrings are like the calves. They are just. I don't
tedious.
trust.
Tedious
it
injuries.
is annoying. The problem, Mike Evans, who is in the shape of his life, I want to go back to maybe 2017 or 2018. There were back-to-back seasons where his hamstring ended his season. And 1 year he got over 1,000 yards, and I think he missed 2 games at the end of the year. He would have had even more. So when a guy has a history, he knows how he feels. He knows the red flags when you begin to feel a hamstring issue. So I'm hoping he has himself caught this and prevented it from being worse. And then again, like I said with Kansas, utilizes the resources at the Bucs facility, follows the training to a T. Like I said, he takes great care of himself, and really is pushing himself to be one of the all-time greats. So he's not gonna be careless, but. We won't get an injury report until next Wednesday. They might have a bonus practice on Monday, and they're not obligated to report Mike Evans' injury or Kalijah Kancey or Ryan Neal or Jamel Dean. They're not required to do that until next Wednesday, a week from today. So it's going to be a week until we really get something official. And don't be shocked if Evans is, I say he's limited in every practice next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
They're going to play it safe.
Don't be shocked if he doesn't practice either. And don't be shocked. So if he needs another week, take another week. It's a huge game next week. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Against the Lions. And boy, they could sure use him.
Yeah.
Sure use him for sure.
Well, as you mentioned too, Mike Evans, he's something he learned from Brady as well, kind of how to take care of your body and how important that is. So you can count on him for that. Other injuries to kind of look out for, cornerback Jamel Dean and linebacker Servassier Dennis. Again, we'll keep you guys updated, right? We're here every single Wednesday. We have a hit on Channel 8 at 4. And if not, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the good things. Okay, cool. You get it. You got it. Good. What this team has shown us, next man up mentality. Sure. Let's play worst case scenario. Mike Evans isn't playing for the Lions game. You saw what Trey Palmer did. Relax. They're going to be okay. Let's talk about their schedule, though. You bring up the Lions.
Yep.
We're going to get into it next Wednesday a little bit more, but we'll touch on it right now. The Lions, I mean, they're, they were a social media favorite, right, with Hard Knocks and whatnot too. They're playing. I think they're
pretty
legit.
The way they dominated Green Bay.
Yeah.
Last time out has, if it didn't open your eyes, it has now. And they are in control of the NFC North. It's not a fluke. It's not a gimmick. This has been in the making with what they've done there and their philosophy. It's a really good team that's coming in here to Raymond James Stadium for the Bucco Bruce Orange game. So yeah,
Dreamsicle. I'm so excited for that game.
Yeah, the Bucs and it's flexed for a reason. We'll probably get the A crew coming in here for the 425. What is it? America's Game of the Week.
Heck yeah.
I think they call it. But
heck yeah. How about that too? Can we talk about that changing the time? I mean, this season has just changed. Well, they had this plan all season long. The Bucs had this plan all season long. But would you have thought they were 3-1? I'll be honest, I kind of did. Like, me and you went down the schedule and we were like, okay, that's a win. That's a win.
I thought they were
Eagles.
I thought they'd be 1-3.
Did you?
I thought they'd be 1-3, and I thought that they would be I thought they'd actually be playing well, and you would sense, okay, are they going to get over the hump? It's right there, and because I said from the beginning, get to the bye week. They had a decision to make at quarterback, which that's been put to bed.
Yeah.
And then after the bye week, I know there's some tough games on there, but there are opportunities to start stacking wins here. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was thinking, gosh, maybe they could get to 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But at 3-1, now you've set the table.
Yeah.
For something a little bigger than 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And those wins and the games on the backside of that bye week are still. There's a couple you can circle them right now. I don't want to put bulletin board material on anyone's thing, but there are some games there, and this one's getting flexed. The Lions game, and as we saw the schedule there, you might have seen the one at San Francisco in November. If this continues, don't be shocked if, there we go, November 19th at the 49ers. Don't be shocked if the 3 words pop into play, Sunday Night Football. Don't be shocked. There you go.
We're going to manifest it. And
there you go. And that Packers game possibly is another, if it was going to be a game flexed, I'm reading it with you guys. If the Packers can rebound from their loss and get back into the division hunt, there's some opportunities to go prime time. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the national perspective on the Bucs was just so depressing.
Eye rolling. I was like, is this a joke? You guys really don't actually think this, right?
And to embrace them now, I think I just welcome back.
Come on back.
But it's when the schedule came out, I just found it to be just a slap in the face.
I did too. It was insulting. It was insulting, and I love that this Bucs team has just absolutely eaten it up and been like, all right, we'll let you guys think that.
Right.
Watch this.
Right, exactly.
So that's been really, really, I have chills talking about it right now. That's been so fun to watch and see.
I just don't know why and this is outside loyal Bucs fans in the immediate Bay Area, which gets the coverage a lot. There's just presumption that, Tom Brady's gone, they're going to be terrible. Yeah. That was this.
They
presumption.
Were wrong. They were wrong. And you were talking about the division leaders, obviously the Eagles in the NFC East. Oh my goodness.
The East of the NFC is led by the Eagles. Yes.
East. And then the NFC West, we got the 49ers, NFC North, of course, the Lions, and then the NFC South. Let's just bring up that little graphic here. That is amazing.
They're one game into the
Look at them.
Division schedule.
Leading that thing. How about that?
And the Carolina Panthers the other day.
Oh my goodness.
Just got in their own way.
Hate to watch that.
Against the Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't know what we have with the Falcons, because I thought the Falcons would be one of the. I thought this was going to be a Falcons Saints battle at the top, and the Bucs would come in somewhere behind them.
Yeah.
It's 4 games in. I get it, but that game in London the other day was just a clunker for Atlanta, just an absolute clunker. And the Jags needed a rebound win. They got it.
Yeah.
So that was, this division is a little funky right now. The Panthers, I don't know what to say.
There's nothing to be said.
I'm not really sure what to say about it.
Nothing to be said.
I feel, they're going with the young quarterback, obviously,
I can't believe
changing the course of the franchise. But now you're going to be in the running for another quarterback, possibly.
Right. Yeah, and I can't believe they, too, in the preseason polls, picked Bryce Young to be over Baker Mayfield, and then Desmond Ridder, too. I'm just like, that inexperience. Now, I will say, I get it. There's guys like Trevor Lawrence and whatnot and what have you. The list could go on. But I just didn't feel like I just also felt like that was kind of like, I don't feel this. I don't like this. Like, I thought Baker Mayfield
Mayfield's
was
story,
better than both of them.
Baker Mayfield's story is There's no other way for me to put it. But this is a little bit of a redemption.
Yeah, redemption tour. I like
for
that.
him, and to come here on a 1-year deal, a very modest salary, which was the only way he was going to get here. That's humble pie, no matter how you look at it.
$4 million, that's humble pie.
And yeah, that's well, he's.
But I know what you mean. I know what you mean for NFL.
He should be in the 24 mil.
Yeah.
And that's what. By the way, if this goes well, guess what's coming next year? 24. Yeah, exactly. So the quarterback situation in the offseason, they're going to have to assess it. And this could be a payday for not only Mayfield, but a lot of guys on this team still.
Yeah.
That are up. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. How about this, too? Casey Sloan, our beloved here, she wrote this wonderful article. Baker Mayfield, Bucs enter bye week, NFC South leaders. I'm going to just say it again and again and again, just for the haters out there, quieting those critics on the quarterback competition. We'll bring it back, too, to kind of win. Oh, obviously, you could check that out on our website at WFLA.com. Casey's the GOAT. She's so helpful. I love her. Shout out. Yeah, speaking of wins and losses, you know who dipped out after that Eagles loss?
Uh-oh.
Buckified Bird, man.
Where was that guy last week?
He was like, I can't deal with this. He was so upset. However, he's back after a win. So let's check in with him.
No.
Hello, Aileen. This is Buckified Bird, and I'm so excited to be able to contact you and let you know how I feel on Bucs Bonus about the Buccaneers. Keep in mind, I've been talking that talk, and the Bucs have been walking the walk. We shocked the whole world because everybody thought that we would be 0-4. I'm shocked that we're 3-1 because we should be 4-0. Take away 2 touchdowns that Mike Evans, if he'd have held on to the ball, they guaranteed we would have beat the Eagles. But we beat the Saints. I got 2 championship belts over here that we won, back-to-back division titles, and we're going for 3. We're going to win the next one, and nobody can stop us. All right? I'm taking it out break, and I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm going to get ready for the Detroit Lions. Keep in mind, that game has been elevated. It ain't 1 o'clock. It's going to be 4:25. Take it from Buckified. That ain't no jive. I'm out.
Buckified
Awesome,
Bert with the
dude,
with the programming note there for you.
God, he's great. I want one of those belts, so I'm going to steal one of those. When
For a guy that's got that get up and the 2 belts, he's using a landline.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured he'd be phoning in.
I'll tell you what.
Fancy.
He needs to get in that locker room, too, and tell them what's up. Because, I mean, even hearing him talking kind of motivates me. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think this bye week could come at a better time. And people were not happy about this in the beginning of the season. It's too early, yada, yada. But I'm like, look, it all works itself out. They've got a ton of injuries that, need to get fixed by the time the Lions come back, especially when the Lions come into town.
Yeah.
They're a hot team right now. They got things going. So, I think this bye week ended up really, really working out for them. I wouldn't have even wanted to see it later in the season, personally, just at this point.
Maybe a week or 2 later, because what you're doing then is, if it's a week later or 2, now you're talking from the beginning of training camp to the end of the regular season. That's pretty much halfway. So that splits the season in 2. On the backside of this bye week, they had, obviously 13 games stacked up. But the injuries they have, and let's face it, everybody's injured in the NFL by now. But
that's so true. Everyone's playing through an injury.
The names and the severity and the types of injuries require rest.
Yes.
Calves, hamstrings. You can go in the facility and work out and do your thing. But practicing and playing football, in order for some of these injuries to heal, this extra a week is going to make a massive difference. I can't wait to see of the guys who were kind of close to coming back, who's back.
Yes.
For the next
and
game.
They're going to be hungry, man. That juice in that locker room, they are going to be hungry and pumped. Almost as pumped as we are. I mean, suit us up. Let's go. I'm excited. And look, Creamsicle is back, dude. Creamsicle's back. Let's go.
My youth.
Okay, before we go, let's speaking of that and your youth, why don't you tell us like a fun story about that?
Oh, my youth and the Bucs?
Yeah.
Well,
before we go,
say how old you are. Say how old you are without saying how old you are. I have somewhere in a box in the parents, one of my 2 parents, somewhere shoved away in an attic, is a T-shirt that I had in 3rd grade of when they won their first division title, which was the NFC Central. And on the back of the shirt, it had the words to the Bucs song that you hear now. Buccaneers, go Bucs. And that was my favorite T-shirt of their division title. They went to the NFC Championship game. The Yucks became the Bucs.
Wow.
And they were America's team. They lost to the Rams 9-0 in the NFC Championship game.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But my first Bucs game was a preseason game. My dad took me against the Baltimore Colts before they moved to Indianapolis.
Sounds so weird.
There you go. That's
sounds so
been
weird.
It's been a few years.
Look,
Yes.
look, it's amazing, and I'd honestly too. I'll just say, I love the creamsicle color. Like I'm obsessed with it.
I love it.
They gave us a jersey, guys. Nice enough. Maybe one of us will wear it next week on the show. That would be fun. Like,
I love it.
It's awesome.
You know what's in the mid when they 97 when they changed to to what was then the new uniform. They basically buried the creamsicle. They wanted to. They just never wanted to see it again. It was associated with the bottom, and it made total sense at the time. But now that things have kind of gone on as history have, you had a first Super Bowl era and a second Super Bowl era. I think it's more nostalgic now, and people appreciate it. And the Patriots organization is going through the same thing with Pat the Patriot and the red jerseys. The same thing. You can look back on that and appreciate it a little bit more thanks to all the success you've had in the past, whatever, couple decades.
Well, redefining that success too. How about that? Well, if I don't see you guys at the game or in a creamsicle jersey or what, I'm going to be so mad at you. So you better do
Get
them
out.
Get them out. And I'll also be mad at you if you don't come tune in next week. We'll be here Wednesday. Like I said, if you miss us live on FLA Now, then just check us out on YouTube and Spotify and Apple, all the things. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. We will be here next week on Bucs Bonus.